The 10,000 Black Men's Convention is set to take place from April 18th to the 22nd right here in Washington, D.C. On this edition of Right and Exact, we speak with one of the National Co-Conveners, Imam Akbar Bilal, about the convention's goals and objectives and what they hope to accomplish after it has taken place. Imam Akbar, we thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Okay, please tell us some of the goals and objectives of the 10,000 Black Men's Convention.
Yes, sir. The goal is to rejuvenate the black man. After so much has been done to us, we felt the necessity, those organizers of the 10,000 Black Men's March, including the doctor and attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz. My national chairman is a man named Hashim Ekanat Nzinga. I'm the national chief of staff of the new Black Panther Party for self-defense. I'm a co-convener of the 10,000 Black Men's March, and we fully intend to rebuild a black man and put a black man back together after so many have sought to destroy the black man through disrespect, as the Honorable Dr. Adam Clayton Powell talked about, your self-respect, your dignity. But he said, when we get it back, we will have our integrity. He was one of the early Black Caucus, maybe the original Black Caucus, Dr. Frederick Douglass. Some of his reference is to the black woman, especially to Harriet Tubman, that to organize yourself, find a peacemaker and organize against the warmongers. He said to find a disciplinarian, organize against undisciplined. But he said the most important thing that we can tell you is that for you, the black woman, to organize yourself against your exclusion from your participation and in having your own black government. And this is important at this hour, that both chiefs of the march have expressed the need for black government. The Honorable Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad expressed the need for black unity and for black revolution. As he explained, the black revolution was the only solution for the problems that the issues of black people of this hour. So as we explore the needs, meeting the needs of the black man, meeting the needs in the black community, we saw the necessity to rejuvenate the entire black community eventually, but we are starting with the black man, the legs and the head of the society. And the black man had civilization, had culture long before the great interruption of the master deceiver himself, the white man.
You know, Imam Akbar, of course, as you may know, there are many people within the black community who are going to say, or who have said, why another march? You know, we've been doing all this marching, nothing has changed, specifically over the past 23 years since the Million Man March, headed by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. How do you respond to that, to critics or to naysayers?
My response to that immediately is that this march will change. And those marches did change, but they were looking for some miracle or some type of black magic to come out of this issue. But if you remember, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, I Say Your Name would adopt a black organization. I Say Your Name would stop calling black women black bitches and black hoes. I Say Your Name will adopt a prisoner, if no more than to write a letter and have a pen pal as a prisoner. So if we carried out just some of those things, as I remember my days of early scouting, they talked about a scout being trustworthy and loyal and helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, brave, thrifty, clean, and reverent. So if we just use some of those things we already have, we're not inventing the wheel, but we are redirecting the black man to rejuvenate what is already in his spirit, what is already on his mind, what is always pleasing to the black woman, to see her man as an honorable figure, someone to look up to. But we intend to rebuild that man, and then once again, the black woman will be proud when she looks at that black man. She will see pride and dignity. Yes, sir.
Okay, now I noticed that one of the objectives of the convention, first of all, I want to ask you, when is the convention scheduled to take place? When and where?
It will take place between the days of April 17th and April 21st. The main center for the 10,000 Black Men's March will be at Shiloh Baptist Church, which is located at 1500 on 9th Street in Northwest Washington, D.C. Again, that address is 1500 on 9th Street, Northwest Washington, D.C. We have a theme to stop the killing, to rebuild, to revitalize, to save our sons, and to save our daughters. That is the major objective, is stopping the killing, to save our sons and to save our daughters.
Now I'm glad you brought that up, because when I was getting ready to ask you, among the goals and objectives, some of the goals and objectives of the convention slash march, you speak about violence prevention, and of course, what many have observed is that there's an ongoing black self-genocide problem, which is popularly referred to as black on black crime, which some people have said is actually not as bad as others, but some have said that actually, no, we are killing ourselves at an alarming rate. How does the Black Men's Convention plan to counter what is popularly referred to as black on black crime?
Yes, sir. And the popular phrase that we break with the tradition, our mindset is we know that black people have issues with each other, but I don't tend to use black on black crime. I prefer to talk about the white on black crime. I prefer to talk about a prolonged relationship with the white man, overexposure to the white man, have caused us to turn on ourselves. As the white man that went into Las Vegas was looking for black victims, some of those in the Columbine mindset are looking for black victims. But as the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught most of us, that when he can't find a black victim, then he will turn on himself. He is an unnatural born killer. We are natural, as you class 13X teaches us, born, the black man born. Honorable Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad talks about born, that's what I'm born for. That's my purpose. The cows and chickens birth. The black man is born, the black woman is born to service each other, to be a family, to be that which is civilization, that which is culturally refined, and that's which cultivates and nurtures the best in itself. We're born producers. And as we see in this hour, there's been a great disturbance, a great interruption in that culture, an interruption in our civilization. And as you see, is Donald the Duck Trump had targeted Africa. If he's bragging on a legacy, trace that legacy down, and you see likely it's a legacy stolen from Africa. The white man basically has very little on his own that he can brag about. If you want gold, then he'll get the best gold resources and best mineral and natural resources from Africa. If he wants to make a bomb, he has an STC product in that bomb. And so therefore, the uranium to make that bomb, he will seek to go to Uganda, go to Tanzania to make a cheap deal or no deal or to steal, as he many times as the master of deception will go in and drill for petroleum looking for oil, but he'll angle drill and get uranium or some other mineral resource and take it out and make billions and tell you was no petroleum down there. See, we have nothing in our barrels, no petroleum there. The white man is again a master of deception. So we're here at the 10,000 Black Men's March to expose much of what the white man has done, to make right some of the miseducation. Dr. Carter G. Woodson, we're talking in what? Black History Month. But it was so much miseducation, it's a disturbance to real education. As the teaching they have is the slave ship theory. Well, we know most of black men and women and children didn't come on nobody's slave ship, because there's evidence to show us all over this Black History Month that we were already here, and the white man had squatted on our property, had done bacterial warfare and wiped out many in the millions, right, through the smallpox and other ways of deception and germ warfare against the black man, woman, and child at this hour. So one of our jobs, again, to expose the white man to what he has done and what he continues to do to the black man, woman, and child at this hour.
Now, who are some of the speakers that will be at the march? Some of the presenters, or the convention rather? Who are some of the? Give us an idea, because
yes, sir, we have heard there's a Dr. Claude Anderson that's going to be one of the major speakers there. We've heard about Dr. Leonard Jeffries being one of the major speakers there as a master historian and black history, African, Afrocentric, Pan-Africanist activist professor. And James Smalls, his partner, will also be there. We have all of those that have come in that great legacy behind the leadership of Dr. and Attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz, including my national chairman, Hashim Ekanadnan Zinga, will be there for that. We have one of his friends, the billionaire, man who helped with the Commerce Department, helped the President Obama use his presidential jet. We have Dr. Michael Roberts, attorney, and Dr. Michael Roberts to be at the 10,000 Black Men's March. Yes, sir. Brother Jahar Abraham from this city, and Pastor Stephen Young. We have Brother Tyrone Parker of the Alliance of Concerned Men, a man who taught and trained me in many ways of urban warfare in another sense. Another war going on, what? In the black community at this hour, Black Power.
Right here in D.C., of course, the black community is facing, as it is across the country, the crisis of gentrification. Does the convention have anything on its platform that can potentially counter gentrification?
Yes, sir, exactly. We have gone into those businesses. Say, for instance, recently there was a mental health student at Ballou High School who was killed over his cell phone. And we conducted a press conference at Ballou High. We have adopted Ballou High School as well as we have Ketchum Elementary School to put emphasis on rebuilding the black man from elementary through high school, through college, through adulthood. We know every phase of the development of the black man. But those counter demonstrations in the black community, such as Bazzuto Construction is building in the black community. The rumor is that there's been no hiring of blacks in the sense of what our great ancestor, the Honorable Dr. Benjamin Banneker, laid out the city. You keep talking about 5%, 10%, 20 and 30% unemployment in the black community. Well, we say that one time the black man, woman, and child had all of the jobs. We did all of the work. So the white man not only at Black Wall Street, he has seek to destroy what we would build up, our crops, our homes, and our potential businesses have been shut down in this city. F Street was a vendor's paradise for black vendors at one point of the history, a recent history in Washington, D.C. They have put every stumbling block, everything that they could to stop black business in D.C. But there's nothing they can do to stop the 10,000 black men from coming and bringing rejuvenation, bringing black economics, bringing black business, black to the black community. And we will be demanding those businesses to have black jobs, which we have built. I'm a builder, I'm an engineer. And the things that we did build, I can see just in one project that I was able to engineer and build, there were 300 jobs in the black community. So we're going back to that source and back to building. As you see them attack Anacostia in Southeast Washington, and there is, according to Trayvon White, there is nearly several $1 billion of construction not million, but multi-billion dollars promised to Southeast Washington. We will demand a % of that go directly to the black community in which they are building. And much of that has already been built. They have a debt to the black community, and we must go about the business of seeing that they pay that debt at this hour.
Okay, now we saw something, I saw in one of the advertisements concerning the several days that the convention will be taking place, something on April 21st. Are you all marching to the White House? on April 21st? Are you?
Yes, sir. We intend to send a very clear message to the President Donald. I refer to him many times as the Donald the Duck Trump. We will have a 10,000 black men's march that will again bring attention. This 10,000 black men's march will bring attention to the neglect, the criminal neglect of Donald the Duck Trump in the black community. As you see, he had cleaned the swamp. Did a good job cleaning the swamp. And the problem suffering in the black community is that he placed all the snakes and all the gators, all the white supremacists, all the swamp water creatures has been put on the cabinet of the President of the United States. So therefore has thrown out the value system. They're talking about Ronald Reagan value systems were thrown to the curb and under the bus. We are looking for things such in the order of family values, civil rights have been told to at ease. We're talking human rights have been dismissed under the cabinet, the swamp water creature cabinet of Donald the Duck Trump, who is ducking the black issue at this hour, ducking black Africa at this hour, ducking the responsibility to balance the scales in the black community between the white Republican far, what they call so-called right. But of course, Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad teaches us you have to first be you yourself right. So there's now a war between the righteous and the wicked is going on at this hour. When it comes to social and political issues, there's a war between right and wrong. There's yet another battle, the melanated and the non-melanated. All of these things are being generated as we talk today. The 10,000 Black Men's March will address them and as well leave in place a strong LOC or local organizing community right in place after the 10,000 Black Men's Convention and March right here in Washington, D.C. Building economics, but building a strong defense that will also be a strong military operation in place to protect the black community. Because when they say thou shalt not kill, there is no evidence anywhere that anyone is going to enforce thou shalt not kill when it comes to the black man, woman, and child. In fact, Giuliani Trump got the ball rolling to say that you don't even deserve a due process in the law for our black men, women, and children, which you had referred to earlier, the blight and the so-called black on black crime, which is the pre-exposure to the white man, black power.
Right, and I want to mention, of course, ask you briefly, of course, the issue of, you mentioned Giuliani, and of course, when President Trump was running during the campaign, many critics felt that he was giving tremendous leeway to police to abuse black people. How does the convention plan to counter the rampant police brutality that is taking place across the country towards us?
Giuliani, Bannon, Trump, Bush, Clinton, it's not very much different, but those are the hidden hands of the white supremacy at this hour, which will team itself up like Reagan went to Gorbachev, Bush to Blair, and now you have Trump to Vladimir Putin. And it's a globalized white supremacy, which Honorable Dr. Francis Cress Welsing explains that white supremacy by any other name is still, again, a clear evidence of white supremacy, and white male globalization is where they're intended to go with this thing. As long as any white man is in power, and then they'll work their way around to their preference. But if you see a black man in power anywhere, the white man is totally uncomfortable. In fact, one of his greatest fear, according to my psychologist, the Honorable Dr. Imam Akbar, his biggest fear is losing control of the black man, woman, and child at this hour. Black power.
Okay, so as we conclude, where can people find information concerning the 10,000 Black Men's Convention?
Yes, sir. You can go on our website at www.blackmensmovement. The blackmensmovement.org is one of the spots. You can go on Black Lawyers for Justice. You can go on the new Black Panther website and get information on the march. We meet every Tuesday in Washington, D.C. at 733 on Euclid. That is again 733 Euclid Northwest. And this is our local organizing effort. And as we begin to have new meetings that are popping up all over the city to organize the 10,000 inside. I'm a National Co-Convener, and I have to reach for the 10,000 outside to meet the 10,000 inside. And you have to come to yourself to see what does a real 10,000 black men's march look like. Black power.
Imam Akbar K, we thank you very much for joining us. We wish you luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you in April.
Thank you. See you in April, Brother Doshon. Again, pleasure. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum and Black Power.
Wa alaikum salam, Black Power. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition for Right and Exact. I'm Doshon Farad, and don't forget to like us on Facebook as well as to subscribe to our YouTube page. See you next time.